One day, I found my little boy feeling feverish and nauseous. He was having a really bad headache and began vomiting. I started to worry and brought him to the hospital. The doctors asked so many questions. I was faced by the flurry of inquiries coming at me as they were figuring out what was wrong with him. My heart broke at the sight of my son tearing up as blood was being extracted out of him. Hours later, they told me he had a decreased platelet count and concluded that he had stage 3 dengue. I was stunned as I was listening to the doctor explain his condition. How could he have developed such a disease in such a quick pace? I froze in fear for the fate of my son. After a few days, the doctors did a few more tests and figured out that it was Japanese encephalitis which was ailing my boy. I was appalled by the term. I had never heard of such disease before. I prayed in silence, wishing this was all just a dream. I got shattered in pieces as I watched him suffer. I could hardly recognize him as he was deteriorating from this devastating disease. He went through seizures and eventually went into a coma. Several days later, he passed away. How could such a thing happen to him? I wish I could have done something to prevent this from happening.
What is Japanese encephalitis? According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Japanese encephalitis or JE is the leading cause of vaccine-preventable encephalitis in Asia and the Western Pacific. It is among the most important viral encephalitides in Asia, especially in rural and suburban areas where rice culture and pig farming coexist. JE is due to infection with the JE virus or JEV, which is a mosquito-borne virus like the dengue virus. Japanese encephalitis is carried by a mosquito called Culex tritania rhynchus and similar species that lay eggs in rice paddies and other open water sources with pigs and aquatic birds as the principal hosts. 24 countries in the World Health Organization or WHO Southeast Asia and Western Pacific regions have a JEV transmission risk which includes more than 3 billion people. It is estimated that there are 68,000 clinical cases every year in China, Japan, Korea, and the Indian subcontinent, with 10,000 deaths, mostly among children and the elderly. Infections in the first and second trimesters of pregnancy have reportedly led to fetal death. So how can you tell if someone has Japanese encephalitis? Most people who are infected develop mild symptoms or no symptoms at all. The estimated ratio of asymptomatic to symptomatic infection is 300 to 1. Symptoms which include fever, chills, headache, fatigue, nausea, vomiting, confusion, and difficulty in moving usually take 5 to 15 days to develop. Symptoms that develop later include inflammation of the brain, accompanied by seizure, occurring in 66% of the cases, especially in children, may eventually lead to coma and paralysis. Although symptomatic JE is rare, the case fatality rate among those with encephalitis can be as high as 30%. 30 to 50% of those who suffer from encephalitis can experience permanent neurologic or psychiatric problems. In most temperate areas in Asia, JEV is transmitted mainly during the warm season when a large epidemic can be staged, whereas in a tropical country like the Philippines, transmission of the virus occurs year-round but intensifies in the rainy season. This is due to an increase in the population of the vectors, which translates to an increase in occurrence. Latest data from the Department of Health reveals a total of 119 reported cases with the highest incidence in Region 3. A number of clinical studies have reported 257 cases of laboratory-confirmed JE from 1972 to 2013 in the country. JEV was the causative agent in 7 to 18% of cases of clinical meningitis and encephalitis combined, and 16 to 40% of clinical encephalitis cases. JE predominantly affected children under 15 years of age, and 6 to 7% of cases resulted in death. Surveillance data from January 2011 to March 2014 identified 73 or 15% laboratory-confirmed JE cases out of the 497 cases tested. Based on data from published reports and presentations from 1958 to 2013, Nueva Ecija has the most number of reported cases, followed by Tarlac and NCR. JEV seroprevalence studies were also conducted in the different provinces in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Data from surveillance and referral testing from January 2011 to March 2014 revealed that there was an additional of 21 confirmed JE cases out of 159 cases referred by hospitals in Metro Manila without available data on the geographic origin. Infected humans do not develop sufficient levels of the virus in their blood to infect other feeding mosquitoes. Virus transmission occurs in an enzootic cycle, meaning the virus regularly affects animals in a particular district or a particular season. For JEV, it is between the mosquitoes, pigs, or water birds. This is the reason why the disease is usually found in rural or peri-urban setting, where humans live in close proximity to these hosts. A necessary intervention against the alarming statistics on the number of deaths due to Japanese encephalitis should not be postponed any longer. While there is no cure for JE yet, there are ways to prevent getting infected. When you think of the transmission cycle of JE, you can see that there are 3 possible options for controlling the disease: mosquito control, pig control, or human interventions. People can spray mosquito habitats with insecticide, but due to its cost, ineffectiveness, and environmental impact, this is not the best solution. Neither is slaughtering of pigs a practical option to prevent transmission. Of these, only human immunization is a realistic option. According to the consensus statement from global JE meetings, human vaccination is the only effective long-term control measure against JE. The WHO also approves by saying that, where affordable, JE vaccination should be extended to all endemic areas where JE is considered a public health problem. Studies in Korea and Japan have shown that there is more than 99% reduction rate in JE cases after immunization. In the Philippines, the live attenuated vaccine for JE is given subcutaneously and can be given at the minimum age of 9 months old. Children 9 months to 7 years should receive 1 primary dose, followed by a booster dose 12 to 24 months after the primary dose. Individuals 18 years and older should receive a single dose only. In an effort to have every Filipino child vaccinated, the Department of Health is mulling the inclusion of the JE vaccine in its expanded immunization program. The National Immunization Program is also taking necessary steps to purchase JE vaccine for free distribution to health centers and schools. For now, you may consult with your physician as to how you can avail of this vaccine. Of course, it would also help to establish other preventive measures such as applying insect repellent on exposed skin, wearing proper clothing, avoiding exposure to mosquitoes during peak feeding hours, and making sure your doors and windows are well screened and installing bed nets. Immunization is the most cost-effective health intervention known to mankind. The improvement in immunization coverage of Japanese encephalitis will be the greatest public health achievement of all time. Protect yourself and your loved ones. Get vaccinated because no human should die from a vaccine-preventable disease. Japanese encephalitis vaccine is now routine for children in the Philippines due to the steady rise of cases. Knowing what the disease is all about and how to prevent it is crucial for your child's protection.